The day before Caris was due to be discharged, a young couple entered the hospital. As they stepped into the reception area, the wife spotted Ada and called her name. Ada! Ada! Ada turned around and saw her longtime friend Rachel. They embraced, and Rachel immediately noticed Ada's worn appearance. Without needing to be told, Rachel could see that Ada had been through a lot, but she couldn't quite figure out what had happened. Ada greeted Rachel and her husband, Roland, and shared everything she had been through. Although Rachel was already aware of Ada's marital struggles, she didn't know the full extent of her pain. Rachel had always warned Ada not to give in to Femi's threats, but Ada had thought she could save her marriage by sleeping with her husband's boss. She hoped that by doing so, she could win Femi back. However, when Femi became even more monstrous, Ada was too ashamed to turn to Rachel for help. She feared the rumors that painted her as the one who seduced her husband's boss, and she couldn't bring herself to ask for support again, especially since she believed Rachel might betray her just like Nona had. Rachel, on the other hand, had been consumed with her own struggles. She had been married for 4 years without a child and was becoming unstable, both emotionally and physically. She had been in and out of hospitals and prayer houses, desperately seeking answers, but these concerns had kept her from checking on Ada. When Rachel and Roland went in to see the doctor, they returned with some money for Ada and their address. They promised to take her in once Caris was discharged and help her get back on her feet. Ada was overjoyed. Once Caris was well enough to leave the hospital, Ada followed the address Rachel had given her and found their home. Rachel went to the market, bought new clothes for Caris, and even gave Ada some clothes of her own. She also bought other essentials for Ada's upkeep. Rachel and Roland offered Ada and Caris their guest room, and they enrolled Caris in one of the best nurseries in town. Ada was grateful beyond words. Roland promised to help her start a small business after she had delivered, but they insisted she take care of her own health first to avoid stress. Ada prayed for Rachel and Roland every day. Caris became a joyful and loved child, and Ada settled into her new home, surrounded by love and care from Rachel and Roland. She helped Rachel with housework and chores, though Rachel often insisted she take it easy, given her condition. Ada refused to listen, believing it was a way of repaying her friend's kindness. One day, Rachel suggested that Ada should reach out to Mr. Ayinde, although Ada didn't see the point. Rachel encouraged her to at least inform him that she was carrying his child. Ada went to his office, but she was told Mr. Ayinde had traveled abroad and wouldn't be returning anytime soon. Ada returned to Rachel's house, determined to focus on her health and the future she was building with her child. However, things took a dark turn when Ada, now 32 weeks pregnant, began to notice Roland making advances towards Ada. At first, Ada ignored him, but one day, Roland came home early, knowing that Rachel wouldn't be there. He forced himself on Ada, raping her. He told Ada, "Do you think all the favors I'm doing for you are free?" Ada was horrified, and the following day, Roland begged her to keep it a secret. He asked her to continue having sex with him, but Ada refused, swearing never to betray Rachel. Despite her protests, Roland continued to molest Ada. He would come home early or wait until Rachel left for work to take advantage of her. Ada started locking her room to keep him out, but Roland noticed and intentionally damaged the lock one day while Ada was out picking up Caris from school. Ada had planned to run away, but couldn't bring herself to leave Caris behind through Roland, fearing for her child's safety. In a moment of desperation, Ada asked Rachel for a loan, though she had no means of paying it back. Rachel was concerned, but didn't press her for details. She encouraged Ada, believing that her emotional turmoil was a result of everything she had gone through with Femi. But Rachel still hesitated to lend her the money. One day, as Rachel was on her way to work, she dropped Caris off at school and returned home to pick up something she had forgotten. As she approached the house, she heard Ada screaming and crying for help. Rachel rushed to Ada's room and was horrified by what she saw. Roland was forcing himself on Ada, and Ada was begging him to stop. Rachel couldn't believe her eyes. Roland immediately began begging for forgiveness, but Rachel was devastated. She walked out of the house quietly and sat in the car, feeling utterly betrayed and heartbroken. Ada later approached Rachel, explaining that Roland had been molesting her for weeks, but that she had been too afraid to tell Rachel. She didn't want to destroy their marriage. Ada also revealed that the reason she had been asking for a loan was to escape from Roland and start a new life. That night, Rachel called Ada and gave her some money. She told Ada to leave her house the following morning. "I can't leave my marriage for you," Rachel said. "I helped you, and now you've brought bad luck into my home. Take your bad luck and leave." Rachel knew what had happened, but she chose to forgive her husband. Despite the pain, she promised herself she would fight for her marriage rather than for Ada. The next morning, Ada packed her things and took Caris with her. She had no clear destination, but she decided to leave, using the money Rachel gave her to board a bus to another city. As she sat on the bus, she hoped that by leaving, she might escape her troubles and find peace. Caris, still too young to understand, would often comfort Ada when she cried, running her hands over her mother's head and hugging her, trying to stop her from weeping.